Hey guys, it's Benny from Live Fit Performance Coaching, and in this quick workshop, I'm going to show you how you can achieve sustainable fat loss. And we're going to go through a few principles that you can implement into your life that will make a massive difference in how you burn fat and also the speed and rate of your metabolism. So, what I want you to gain from this is a formula for sustainable results using a nutritional process to eat more food whilst burning body fat faster than you ever have before. How to create consistency in your nutrition each day and build a faster metabolism. How to save time and reduce overwhelm by being planned and organized, because that's one of the biggest barriers to healthy food. How to reduce decision fatigue and poor food choices that impact your results. And then also strategies you can implement to overcome the barriers to getting results. So the nutritional knowledge that you need to know is one, your basal metabolic rate and why it's important, how your metabolism works and how you can make it work more efficiently, the impact of low carb, calorie restrictive diets on your hormones and metabolism, what macros are and the difference between food groups and types, and why low GI carbohydrates are best for burning fat. These are the most important things you need to know about nutrition because this impacts the way our body works with our metabolism and also how we burn body fat. So the question is, what is the best diet to be on? And we've got many, and maybe you've tried some of these: the Atkins diet, the paleo diet, keto diet, shake diets, blood type diets. You can read through there around what they all are. And the thing is, yes, they do work because they cut calories dramatically, but they do little to change the behavior around food consumption. So what happens is that most people go on a diet, they achieve weight loss somewhere in the vicinity of maybe 8 to 15, even 20 kilos. But some people often rebound and put all the weight back on they lost in the first place. And then they'll go through that cycle over and over. And we call that the yo-yo effect. So the reason that is it's not actually doing anything to change the behavior around food consumption. And none of these diets promote a healthy metabolism. And a healthy metabolism is what's going to keep you lean because we're human beings and we do slip up and we do enjoy food. So we have to have a fast metabolism so we can enjoy our lifestyle and eat the things that we like and enjoy. So that's the answer. None of those diets are actually the right diet or the best diet to be on. The reason is you have to eat less. You have to cut out food groups. They're often boring. They can be complicated and overwhelming, and they aren't sustainable for the rest of your life. Now, imagine a relationship with food that allows you to eat more food and burn fat faster. That creates healthy food habits and sustainable consistency, which is something that I've coined. And that's really what it's about, because we can be consistent for a period of time, but it's about being consistent sustainably. That's how we can live in the body that we love for the rest of our life. And it also allows you to eat the foods that you like and enjoy, so you don't have to cut anything out. That improves your energy and your recovery because you're feeding yourself with healthy, nutritious food. And it also turns your metabolism into a raging V8 engine instead of like a little 4-cylinder or like a whippersnipper engine that doesn't burn much fuel. We want a raging V8 that burns lots of fuel. And also that gives you the flexibility to enjoy meals out with friends and family, which is huge for our social life. So into the dangers of calorie restrictive diets. So the only time we'd really use a calorie restrictive diet is when you're super low on time because they are convenient, or you want to get a kickstart on your weight loss. So one of those things is potentially meal replacement shakes. There is a place for those because you're still getting your carbs, your proteins, and your fats in the mornings and the afternoons. And I'm not too unhappy with those because a lot of people miss those snacks anyway. So if it's something convenient, you can put it in the fridge, you can just knock down a shake, that works. But things where you're really drastically cutting out food groups, like cutting out all the carbs or going on super high fat, it doesn't necessarily affect our body that well. So the danger of staying in a calorie restriction for too long is that most people hit a plateau inevitably. And that's an immovable stopping point. And I've witnessed this many times in my career working with over hundreds of weight loss clients, because They've been losing about a kilo, maybe a kilo and a half a week, and then they get to this point that they just can't lose the weight. I'm going to explain why this happens shortly. But basically, this happens around the 12 to 24 week mark on a calorie restrictive diet. And this is what we call starvation mode. And there's different levels of this, but essentially it's your body telling you, I'm not getting enough nutrition. So I'm going to hold on to the body fat that I have. And what actually starts to happen is you start to actually burn muscle tissue. So what's happening is what's called metabolism destruction. It'll slow down to the amount of food that you're eating. Now, a lot of people think that when we're in this state, we're actually burning fat. Well, we're not. We actually hold on to fat and we burn muscle tissue. And muscle is one of the most important things for having a fast metabolism. So the last thing we want to be doing is burning our muscle. So what can also happen is hormonal imbalances can arise. And this can include the stimulation of low thyroid in some women, irregular menstrual cycles, skin conditions such as rosacea and acne can become more prevalent, and low energy and mood swings are also very common. So, but ultimately, the worst thing is that you just put back all the weight you've worked so hard to get off over the next 6 months to 3 years, and then you're back at the start again, not sure what to do. So going into metabolism and BMR. So BMR is basal metabolic rate. And this is, I guess, the cornerstone for understanding how we can track your calories. So your BMR is the minimum number of calories your body needs at rest to fuel its metabolic activity. So this is things like your heartbeat, breathing, and your temperature, digestion, things of that nature. Now, your BMR accounts for about 50% of your total daily energy needs. So the rest of your energy goes to helping you walk around and exercise and perform your work duties and things like that. Your total daily energy expenditure is made up of 3 components. It's the energy required for your internal systems. So we're talking about all your systems that regulate your body and your organs, the energy needed for physical activity, and then the energy required to metabolize your food. So the way we can work this out is a formula called the Harris-Benedict equation. And you can go online and just type in Harris-Benedict equation BMR calculation, and you can work out what that is. But for an average person, an average female that is about 165 centimeters tall and 65 kilos, their metabolic rate is going to be around about 1,450 to 1,500 calories per day. For most males, it's around 1,800 to 2,000 per day. So it's essential to know because that's a starting point for your macronutrient requirements. And understanding macros is the key to creating consistency. So we're going to go into this in a little bit more. So let's look at the actual metabolism. So metabolism refers to all the chemical processes that go on continuously inside of your body. It's influenced by your age, your gender, your muscle to fat ratio, the food you eat, and physical activity. And your hormones and nervous system also control your body's metabolism. So there's 2 key functions that metabolism is. It's catabolism, so that's the breakdown of food, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, but also muscle tissue. So we don't want to be breaking down our muscle tissue too much. That's what we've got to fuel our body correctly, especially when we're training. So, and then anabolism is the part of the metabolism which our body is built or repaired. So every time you do a strength workout and you've got sore muscles, our body's sending energy, it's sending nutrition, amino acids to go and repair that part of our body. And that costs our body energy. And that burns calories. So that helps us get leaner. It's often one of the reasons why, if you've noticed that when you're doing strength training more regularly, you feel a bit leaner because your body's constantly working to repair itself, and that costs your body a lot of calories. Hope that makes sense because that's a really key thing to understand. When we're doing cardio all the time, that doesn't happen. That's why strength training is so important. Now, when we eat more than we need for our daily anabolism, the excess nutrients are typically stored in our body as fat. And this is what happens with most people. Because they're not doing strength training and they're not doing much exercise, the food that they eat just gets stored, and we tend to put body fat on over time, especially seasonally. So these are times like Christmas, during winter, holidays, etc. So what impacts your metabolism and how well it works? Well, muscle is huge. The more muscle you have, the faster metabolism that you have. Foods, the type of foods that we eat, so high GI carbs, low GI carbs, and sufficient protein for growth and repair. Now, high GI carbs are your simple carbohydrates that are high in sugar, and that's not great for our metabolism. We get a very low energy spike. Low GI carbohydrates are things like potatoes, sweet potato, pumpkin, and that really helps our metabolism be consistent over a long period of time. The timing of our foods, frequency of our meals. Does every meal contain carbs, proteins, and good fats? And of course, your age, your gender, your body weight, your daily exercise lifestyle, and your cardiovascular fitness impacts your metabolism. So let's look at macros, proteins, fats, and carbs. So protein is obviously important for muscle and tissue repair, and 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. Carbs are our primary source of energy, and the excess is broken down and stored as fat. So we obviously don't want to overeat carbs because it will store that as fat. Same as protein, 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories. Fats are essential for healthy brain function. So if you're ever feeling a bit of brain fog and you're not kind of cognitively firing, you may be low in omegas 3, 6, and 9. 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. So it's basically double protein and carbs. Fiber is important in maintaining the balance in our digestive system, keeping it toned and healthy. And our recommended intake is around 30 grams per day. And then alcohol is actually a toxin, which means our body cannot burn fat while it's in our system. So 1 meal of alcohol equals 7 calories. So going into these types of carbs, again, the low GI, we're looking at complex carbohydrates. So these are digested and absorbed slowly and give a slow, sustained energy release over a period of hours. And this keeps us closer to our ideal fat burning zone, where our body can metabolize fats during the day. So these types of carbs are found in sweet potato, brown rice, oats, quinoa flakes, beans, pumpkin, just to name a few. High GI is full of simple carbohydrates, which are very refined sugars. These either come from sucrose, fructose, or glucose, and they're all different forms of sugar. High amounts of glucose will cause the body to release insulin to control our blood glucose levels. And excess insulin is bad for fat loss because insulin has a lot of calories in it. So then we've got to go burn off our food plus the insulin. So this is kind of, I guess, a bit of a graphic on the difference between having high GI carbs all the time and a low GI carbs. So in the darker blue line, if you've seen people, or maybe this has been yourself, that potentially they don't actually have breakfast, and they might just get by on a coffee early on, and then they have that big dip. And around 9 o'clock, they're kind of ravaging, and they have something sugary and sweet, and then their blood sugar levels spike up. So you can see there around 10:30, they're at like a peak, then they start to tail off and crash off again around 12. And that kind of happens again. So they keep having those high GI carbohydrates because they've always got sweet, sugary cravings. And that goes right on through the day, especially in the afternoon. Those people love, chocolate in the afternoon. And then also at night, we're looking at, bickies and ice cream and things like that at night. And it's all because of the way you started your day, because we didn't have low GI carbohydrates as the cornerstone foundation. So you can see with doing low GI carbohydrates, you get these real gentle energy increases, but you don't get the big dips. So you don't have those real highs or those real energy highs, but you don't have the lows. And this is a much better way to live your life because you're less reactive and you're going to not be craving the unhealthy food as much. It takes a bit of getting used to because you don't feel flat, you just feel neutral. But most of us are so used to kind of the sugar hit that it takes a while to kind of wean off that. So let's look at some of these barriers to sustainable fat loss. Well, number one is I get cravings for sweets in the afternoon or evening. This is a huge one. So many of my clients have told me about this. And the solution to that is you just got to have more good fats at lunch and afternoon tea. So if you're having things like avocado, almonds at about 3 or 4 o'clock, that's going to really curtail the sugar cravings at night. Huge, huge solution. Eating healthy affects my social life. So you just got to be prepared. You got to know that you're going out. Research the macros in and around what you want to eat and stick to it while you're out with your friends. Just because you're out doesn't mean that you have to eat poorly. You can always make the healthy option. It's more that when we are out socializing, we want to relax. And making a poor choice is, for some people, a way of relaxing. I don't have time to prepare food. And what we do here is you do a mass bulk meal prep on the weekends to save time during the week. You can systemize your meals with regular shopping lists and use Woolworths or Coles online to order. Your family eats different food to you and you have to cook for them. I totally empathize with that, and that's really challenging. You obviously need to either eat for yourself, not for your family. So this may involve you making meals for your family on top of what you do for yourself, unless you can kind of get them eating what you're eating and try and kind of create that healthy approach throughout the household. But I know it's really challenging, especially for mums that do so much already, and then they've got to try and cook 2 meals. But that's obviously what the cost of the goals is. So if you're really committed to losing weight, that's what you have to do. Problem, I'm not sure what carbs or proteins are in certain foods. So you can go online to Calorie King to search for the accurate macros in different foods. Now, here's a few laws that I've observed over many years. And when clients perform these 10 laws and they observe these, they get amazing results. So consistency is number one. So you've got to eat the same amount of food each day and follow your plan. You've got to eat the same amount of proteins, carbs, and fats each day and watch your body transform. So what we're doing there is if we eat the same amount of food every day, now it doesn't have to be the same food, but we have to have the same energy every day. So for example, if you're on a 1,500 calorie plan, you have to eat 1,500 calories every day. And ideally, we're eating about 30% protein, 40% carbohydrates, and 30% fat, right? So if you do that day in, day out, your body's going to become predictable. It's going to start shedding that body fat super fast. You have to weigh your food and portion control, because otherwise you're just guessing, and we don't have that internal knowing of how much each thing is, but that really can completely derail your results. So it fine-tunes your body to receive the same amount of energy daily, and your body responds really well to this. So you must do that. Follow the 90-10 rule. So for example, if you are having a breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, and dinner, so 5 meals a day, 2 of them are snacks, for 7 days, that's 35 meals. I've noticed that when clients hit about 32 out of 35 meals a week off the plan, so I call this the 90-10 rule, they'll lose about 1 kilo a week if they're trying to burn fat, or they'll be getting results. When clients are eating, say, like 27, 28 meals a week, so that's still like, 75, 80%, they just don't get results. They just maintain where they're at. It's the last 10% that makes the difference, because that's the 10% that's sitting in our body, and that's what we burn off from our body, right? So you have to hit the 90-10 rule. Eat frequently, number 4. Meals every 3 hours is ideal to speed up your metabolism. Number 5, have a plan B. If you're going out traveling or underpumped with work, you've got to have a really simple option that isn't going to blow your calories and make you buy takeaway. So this could be like a protein shake, have an apple with you, an orange or a nectarine, have a handful of nuts just there in your glove box if you're on the road. But you've got to be aware that at any time, things could just blow up. And that's not an excuse to go through the drive-thru and get Macca's or Hungry Jack's. If you're time poor, prep your food on the weekend so you save time during the week. Huge one. Number 7, know what you are eating the day before. So what you know is that if you know exactly what you're eating the next day, then you can execute that day perfectly. Often we go into a day not knowing what we're going to eat. Like we've got no plan. We often have a plan for our life. Like we have a plan for work. We have a plan for, picking up the kids from school, but we don't have a plan for our food. So you're going in there blind. And of course, when you get stressed out or you get tired, you're going to buy something, and you're going to buy something that's probably not good for you. You've got to set reminders to get snacks in on your phone. So if you're someone that really struggles to get the snacks in, set a couple of alarms. Snack time, 9:30, snack time, 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon. That's really, really key. Don't miss meals. It's key to consume your daily intake. So every single day, you must eat all 5 meals. Now, that's the most important thing as well. Missing meals slows down your metabolism. So we don't want to do that. And number 10, make sure you hit your protein goal for the day. So that's the most important for increasing lean muscle and increasing the thermogenic effect. So the thermogenic effect is that anabolism that we're talking about. So it's when your body is actually repairing the muscle tissue, building a little bit of lean muscle. That's thermogenesis, and that's what's really key to burning fat fast. So I hope that So I hope that helps you guys with a bit more of clarity of what are the kind of really important things when it comes to nutrition. Now, inside of this unit, module 2, you'll see there's also a video on how to track using MyFitnessPal. Now, that's a short video and that shows you exactly how to track your calories so you can start getting a bit of clarity around exactly what you're eating. Now, that's kind of level 2. If that's a bit too much for you and you don't have the time, then obviously we have the nutritional tracking sheet, which you can just write down on. You can start to get a bit of awareness around what you're eating there. So those two options, but number one, we need to know what's going in so then we can make adjustments. Now, stay tuned because later this week, module 6 on Saturday, we're going through nutritional planning and preparation. So we're going to go through the second part of this. I'm also going to be providing you guys with a shopping list and an actual ready-made, ready-to-go nutrition plan that you can implement for next week. So stay tuned for that. Keep tracking your food this week, and any questions, please feel free to ask below in the comments, and let me know your feedback about the video. I hope you have a great day, guys. Thanks.